This is Robert Kraft, and I'm coming to you live on SNN.Live, and we're at the LD Micro Invitational 2019 in Bel Air, California. With me right now is Prad, Sekar from CB2 Insights. It's a publicly traded company, two symbols for you, CBII on the CSE and CBIIF in the US. Prad, welcome to SNN.Live.
Oh, thank you for having me.
It's great to have you on. So for our audience, let's start off with an overview of the company, and then we'll go from there.
Sure, sounds good. So CB2 Insights is a life sciences and healthcare company. We specialize in the medical cannabis sector. So our business is really around developing real-world evidence on the safety and efficacy claims around medical cannabis, using it to be able to then influence future life science stakeholders with regulatory approvals, insurance coverage, and manufacturing.
So let's get a history of the company. When did it start, and how did you develop to where you're currently at today?
So we started the company 5 years ago. I come from the practice management sector in primary healthcare, and it was very novel to us to see a new product come to market that came before the safety and efficacy claims around how it should be used and dosed and prescribed. And so the business was really developed on the premise that we need to have that information if we're truly going to see cannabis mainstream into healthcare. You know, I always say if cannabis is going to play in the same sandbox as other medications, it needs to be having the same rigor placed around it.
So tell me a little bit more about the technology. What about it is unique in the marketplace? And then also, how is it different from some of what's already been out there?
So we began with technology. We have three major divisions in the company. So clinical, technology, and insights. Clinical technology, the clinical component, which is in the U.S., represents today the largest network of medical clinics that specialize in cannabis therapy. So we see about 85,000 patients and more a year, and that's continued to grow organically and through acquisition. The technology we have is truly unique because as a internally developed electronic health record system, it does one of two things. It helps us manage and standardize a quality of care within all our centers in the U.S., but also what it does is it enables us to have a platform that we can really deep dive into the type of parameters we're trying to collect at an aggregate level to start to understand those relationships around safety and efficacy from a more clinical trial perspective and really start to power that future data asset.
And what's the size of the total addressable market?
So you can look at it a few ways. We've got over 300 million plus patients in the U.S. from a medical component, over 500 plus clinics in the U.S. that specialize in medical cannabis. And from the market we see today from the medical cannabis sector, I think it's still relatively undershadowed compared to where the future medical cannabis industry will be when you start to see more cannabis-derived medications coming to market, more significant involvement by biopharmaceutical players or phytopharmaceutical manufacturers with products that are, you know, more hallmark medication based through drug coverage and approvals and delivery mechanisms.
And you alluded to this a little bit earlier, but what's your background? I mean, how did you come into all this?
So like I said, spent the last 15 years in primary care practice management, worked with physicians pretty much most of my career. I've seen a ton of new products come to market, worked with various different technologies, and really understand the gaps when it comes to outcome-based treatments, and with medical cannabis especially, because it's been a product that patients have self-treated themselves for years before, the knowledge base is significantly different from what a clinician has today and just the market in general. And I think being able to close that gap is going to be pivotal to making medical cannabis successful.
So then from what you can tell me, what are some of the company's growth drivers now moving forward?
So there's going to be two key areas for growth. One is going to be clinical. So as one of the largest patient registries out there today, that's going to be a focus for us to maintain that leadership position. So organically, last quarter we saw 16% quarter-over-quarter organic growth, but also through M&A and consolidation. So we closed 2 acquisitions of 2 new clinical groups at the start of Q2. We've got a deep pipeline of more acquisitions that'll be a big driver for growth. And then the other side of it as well is recently announced a partnership with Premier Health, which is one of the stakeholders as one of the life science players. We'll see more of those partnership agreements coming to market this year as we start to work with more of these stakeholders at a closer level.
And Prad, where can our audience go and find more information about the company?
So our website is a great place, www.cb2insights.com, and we'll have all our information, including our latest financial information.
My name is Robert Kraft, and I'm coming to you live on SNN.Live, and we're at the LD Micro Invitational 2019 in Bel Air, California. With me again has been Prad, Sekar from CB2 Insights, publicly traded company. The symbol is CBII on the CSE and CBIIF in the US. Prad, thank you for joining me, man.
Always great being here. Thank you.